Hello, listeners. Welcome to episode 4. I'm Alex,
And I'm Tori.
and this is Alex and Tori Unfiltered. So today's episode, like we said last time, is about dreams. But this one is less the weird, scary, and more like dreams that have an epic storyline. Like, you wake up and you're just like, that could be a movie, and then like a half an hour later you forget like everything about it. It's
Yeah.
sad.
This is the most common type of dream that I have. So I'm going to start with the dream I had last night, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so here I am, right? Sleeping, and I have this crazy dream. So it starts off with like, oh shoot, how does it start? See, this is part of the forgetting it bit.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm just gonna kind of piece it together. So ultimately, there's this like crazy Christian like cult.
By the way, this
that
is not a dig at Christianity in general.
Nope, this is a dig at the weird people in my dreams.
Yeah.
So basically, they found or created some sort of like portal to dinosaur times, and they like were training the dinosaurs not to hurt people with crosses, but to kill everyone else. And I discovered this because I was like friends with some guys that like one of them was like Harrison Ford was playing a character. Shout out to Harrison Ford. And let's see. Right, it was also Zach Oyama was a farmer, and like his great grandfather's farm was like covered in these dinosaur tracks, and he was like killed, and like the authorities were like, "Oh, it's obviously just wolves." Like that's not worrying enough.
Despite the fact that there's like clear dinosaur tracks.
Yeah, so he's like talking about how he found like this like raptor track with his grandfather's footprint in it, and it's like, So, yeah, we like, I think he ends up getting kidnapped by like this
Yeah,
crazy
you
cult.
told me that Zach Oyama gets kidnapped.
Yeah, shout out to Dropout.
Yeah. Um,
So he gets kidnapped by this crazy like cult that has these dinosaurs all like caged up. And we figure out that they're like scared of crosses, so they're like carrying crosses and like ooh, and the dinosaurs are like, oh no,
we don't want nothing to do with those.
we don't want nothing to do with that.
Apparently the cult was like torturing the dinosaurs with the crosses, is what you told
guess
me.
something like that. I don't 100% know. I do know that they were like averse to them, so they would like shy away and like
Right.
um yeah, that was kind of my dream. And like there was more to it, but I don't remember the rest.
Dreams are like that. Honestly, as we tell stories, it might come back to you. Um, so, since that's what you can remember of yours, I'm going to go into the one that I had last night, which was also, like, crazy, and I'm not going to go into the whole thing because some of it involves people that none of you would know, and I don't really want to go into. But the important bits are that we were living in, like, this boarding school that both was and was no longer a boarding school. And it was like this place was massive. There were just rooms on rooms and like dorms, and like it was a crazy situation. I wish that I could remember enough of it to like draw a map of this place out because it was just bonkers. Um, and like at some point we met a really nice like scientist couple that were helping us like and they were gay men, not that that really matters, but it's a part that like stood out in my brain. And yeah, so they were a really nice couple that were helping us like decorate our portion of this school, um like the bit that we lived in, which again, weird thing, we didn't have our own room. We basically lived in what was the equivalent of a living room.
Oh,
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah, real fun. It's like, really? Whole entire school and we can't get our own room? Like, we weren't even like staying in the dorms. We were just like in a corner of the common area. Like, and we're gonna paint it like red because like that's what that's your color.
That's
like,
my color. I like red.
And then I was like asking one of the guys, like, hey, is there anywhere like that we could fit in some like really pretty sage green for me? Because green is my color. I like green. Um, and then I don't know how it went from that to like, apparently there was some big like thing in the science room, and we all went to go check it out, and there's these people that were trying to stop what these two guys were doing, which was they had made some like crazy genetically engineered lizard that was basically like a salamander. It was like bright red and yellow, and they were like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 inches long. Like they were pretty small. There's these little like salamander dudes, kind of wet, even though most reptiles aren't wet.
Like salamanders tend to be.
Yeah, so they were salamanders. We were calling them lizards, but they were salamanders. But anyway, these people were like trying to stop this experiment of like creating and like conserving these salamanders. And so they had set up this like huge, complicated like laser cage around and like force field around these salamanders. And we were like trying to get through that, and the way we finally did was we were very polite to a robot that this group owned, and I guess they were really mean to her. And so when we were really nice to her, she like went and basically opened the door for us in kind of like a, yeah, screw those guys, I like you, I'm gonna help you. And so we immediately like we got in and we started just grabbing handfuls of salamanders. Because we're trying to like rescue them. We're taking them out of that building completely and like moving them somewhere else. So we each had grabbed like a handful of salamander and we're like running away. And one of the guys had tried to like do some noble like, leave me behind, I'll distract them, you go, even though they weren't actually like hurting anyone. So like it was all just an over dramatic like completely unnecessary self-sacrifice. Like he was fine, but then like his husband was like mourning his loss even though he was just like a few rooms away and probably fine. Like the whole thing was just over dramatic and kind of hilarious now that I think about it. At the time, like even in my dream, I was just like, I mean, he's probably fine. We could just go get him.
No, he's dead.
He's gone.
Oh, he sacrificed himself
for the salamanders. Yeah, so that was definitely an interesting dream. And yes, I pretty much woke up like with my hands just full of salamander, going, we could just, like, he's just in the other room, he's fine, let's just go get him. And that's when I woke up. I also, like, on my phone have some, like, it's a dream I had probably, like, months and months ago. And it's, like, it's ridiculous because it was really epic at the time. Like, it was a fantastic idea, it was amazing, it was so cool. And I wrote down what turned out to be one of the boringest, like, most commonplace little, like, story blurbs about it. It's like, woke up, typed it into my phone, so like, I have to remember this. And what I gave myself to remember sparks no memories at all. It's gone. And it's a brother and sister find a pendant they must protect and years later discover its powers. Like, I'm sorry, is that not the most, like, milquetoast, boring, like, young adult novel synopsis you've ever heard?
Ever.
Right? And, like, it was an epic story in my mind. Like, I dreamt a really cool thing, and that is all that's left of it. And I remember nothing about what actually made it cooler than that.
Oh, gosh, that reminds me of, like, a few months ago. Oh, no, it was, like, last year, actually.
Oh, dang.
Wow, time really flies. So I'm in a screenwriting class, and we're supposed to, like, come up with an idea for a story, and I'm sitting here like, I don't know, okay, here's this stupid idea, and this stupid idea. Well, I have a dream about a jester who, like, accidentally commits treason.
Right.
Right. So he's like, there's like this weird like play going on in the background, and he's jumping out like, haha, see what I did? And then the king's like, get him. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah, and he has this kind of like, what? Like what? Because he doesn't understand that he did anything wrong.
Yeah. So he's like, no, this is what? Why? And so that was the thing that got like everyone really excited in this screenwriting class.
Yeah, like I remember reading the comments to it because it was an online thing, and a lot of people were just like, yeah, that seems really interesting. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and then I go to actually like sit down and write the thing, and I can't think up anything that's like reasonably treasonous.
Yeah.
Outside of just outright treason. So it was a pain to write.
And there was more to it. Like, he ends up basically getting like thrown in jail and then like essentially kidnapped by like a rebellion group.
Oh yeah, no, he ends up like escaping with like the head of the rebellion or whatever, and and it turns out like this whole time the king that he's been working with, that he's like really close to and they're like best friends or whatever, he's actually kind of a crap king.
Yeah, and
like not
two, like,
intentionally.
brothers.
Yeah, and then it ultimately turned out that they were brothers, because I thought that was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end he ends up like
taking over as king or something.
Yeah, he gets crowned the new king by the rebellion because he's like actually the old king's like eldest son. So
yeah, also like the new king never wanted to be king. Like, he's a terrible king. Like, think Robert Baratheon. Like, he's there because he was the option, but like he doesn't really want to be there. He's not very good at it. Like,
yeah, and like his evil advisor is the one doing like all of the ruling, and he's just kind of oppressing the populace.
Yeah.
But I'm like really sick of that sort of thing, just like ending in like a really tragic ending. He was terrible, and then the king dies. It's like, I just want a happy ending, right? He gets put under house arrest.
Yeah, which he's actually apparently like really happy with. Like, that's
he's like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, I was bad. Arrest me and let me live in my house.
Yeah. Honestly, house arrest does not sound like the worst punishment ever. Like, you want me to just stay here? Like,
I get to stay in my home? Okay.
Right? Like, you're telling me I don't have to leave. In fact, I'm not allowed to leave, which means I have a perpetual excuse to not go anywhere.
It's like, oh, you want me to go to this party? Like,
sorry, house arrest. Yeah, so like weird dreams. And like, honestly, I frequently have dreams that basically play out in my head like movies.
Mm-hmm.
I've had at least a couple of like almost Lord of the Rings-esque adventures. I can't remember the specifics, but like I know that I've had dreams like that are just like these epic journeys, and it's like, yeah, that'd make a really cool story. And like, by the time I've woken up, it's pretty much gone.
Yeah, you wake up and it's gone. It's like, come on. Like, I've had like full on like Oscar award winning movies in my head.
They're just gone.
They're just gone the second I wake up.
Yeah, which honestly, it wouldn't be so bad that they were gone if everything about them was gone. If you just woke up and like, I guess I didn't dream last night. But no, you wake up with like this sense that you had a fantastic idea, that you just went on an epic journey, and you can remember jack about it.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't remember anything. It's like, why do I have to remember that it happened?
Right? Like, if I can't remember a single detail, why do I have to remember that it was so cool? Like, that's not fair.
It's so rude.
Like, if you're not going to let me remember most of it, at least let me forget how cool it was. I can't think of any more, like, epic story dreams that I've had, at least not, like, specific ones.
Yeah, I can't really think of any specific ones either. I just know that I've had tons of these dreams. This is, like, exclusively how I dream, is in, like, cinematic...
That's probably good, like, 90% of my dreams, at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like these things would make such great like entertainment, and poof, it's gone.
Yeah, like it would be like the most fantastic movies. They would win so many awards. People are like, how do you think of this stuff? It's like, I wish I knew, but instead,
it's just the random crap that my brain spits out when I'm asleep.
yeah, instead I forget it, and I don't get to make these, incredible movies.
Right? But then, like, you sit down and try to write something, and your brain's just like, creativity? What's that?
Oh yeah.
It's like, come on. You give me all these great ideas when you're unconscious. You can't give me a scrap of interest while we're awake?
Yeah, this is why whoever can invent something that like records your dreams, you would make a fortune. Please do this.
Please,
We'll
I would
be
buy
your
it.
first customer.
Oh, 100%. Like, and hey, maybe we'd actually get some original television out of it.
Right?
Something that we just don't get a whole lot of anymore.
It'd be really funny if, like, what it actually is we're having like the like most boring things, but what our brain is doing is it's making us think that they're epic, right? So it's just like what it's done is it's condensed this feeling of epicness, and it's just feeding us that while we're sitting here and like watching, I don't know.
Just like watching YouTube in our dreams, and
Yeah.
our brain's like, here's a little epic journey as a treat.
No, it's just that feeling.
Right, yeah. Here's the feeling of epic journey as a treat. Just some essence of epic.
Yeah. You're actually just watching someone like, in a coffee shop, like drinking coffee, but we're gonna make you feel like it's epic.
Right. Like here's some dopamine as a treat, but it's not really a treat because it's gonna make you angry. Oh.
Yeah, that's my brain. It just likes to make me angry.
Yeah, brains can be mean sometimes. Oh.
So, yeah, honestly, I think that whoever can come up with that crazy, like, brain dream recording,
Right?
you would make so much money.
That'd be so expensive, though.
It'd be so expensive, but it'd be so worth it.
Right?
Like, think about it. You could use it for, like, psychologists could use it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To, like, get a, like, ooh, this is, like, what's going on in your subconscious.
Ooh.
Like, it could open up all kinds of, like, branches of science.
Yeah, that's true. Heck, if it could work on memories too, it could easily help you like remember things that you've forgotten.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. I might need that a lot. I am very forgetful. Because, ADHD and trauma. My brain is dead. It's dead. At least the remembering functions.
Yeah. But yeah, like, that would be huge. That would do so much for society.
Right. So I think we've got a pretty good handle on that for this episode.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, our usual signing off. Don't forget, we have a Patreon.
Patreon.
Yep, that's the word. And if you like us, feel free to support us. We appreciate it. If you don't like us, you might be able to shut us up. You never know.
Yeah. So the way we have it if you like us, then we keep making stuff. If more people hate us and pay us, then we stop.
Yeah. At least until the numbers change again. Like,
yeah.
we reevaluate every week. And eventually, once we start getting some patrons either way, we will have a counter set up so that you can actually, like, see how it's going without having to do math yourself, because, math.
Yeah. We'll do the math for you. Jinx. That's right. That means the podcast is mine. So, I don't like this. Does laughing count? Mm-mm. Okay, Alex, you can talk again.
Okay, thank you.
Discord. That's what I was going to talk about.
Yes.
Feel free to join us on our Discord. We do have a general public. There's also Patreon-specific channels.
Oh, yeah.
And the higher...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The higher you go on Patreon, the more exclusive the channels you get access to. So.
That's true. And the more of our attention you get, you poor souls.
I mean, I assume that's what they want.
Possibly.
So, yeah. appreciate you listening, and we will hopefully see you here next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Have a good week.